basically, because I rolled a 5, there are about 8 guards that are inside. However, because I rolled so low, none of them are in the area where the window was propped open. You can roll a look check if you want to try and discern where they all are inside the building, or inside the transport. It did kind of land on the side, but it was mostly 14, so I'll keep that. 24, all right, so basically what you can tell is it appears that the guards are moving in groups of 2 for the most part. It looks like there's 3 groups of 2 guards each that are roaming inside of the building, going back and forth. There's the 3 different groups of guards that are running around. There's somebody who appears to be driving it, who's working some kind of controls, some hand controls. And there appears to be one last one who's looks like he's monitoring some kind of like you don't know what it is, but it looks like it's some kind of a metal ball that has piping coming out of it that's going to the front of the ship where the smokestack is coming from. You're just not sure what's inside that metal ball.
All right. Now I'm going to use Deep Slumber.
You're going to do that in the general area. Now, what's the radius of that again? Because you are working with a ship that's 60 feet long.
It's 25 feet.
Okay, so that's going to be enough to basically encompass 2 out of the 3 guard groups. The third one is much closer to the front with the driver and what looks like some kind of an engineer. So those 4 immediately fall to sleep.
And I'm just going to walk and start like whistling, like kind of like doing a cane, flipping a cane, and just coup de grace all the ones I see as I walk.
All right, so yeah, you just go on like the WB frog and start doing the can kicking as you're stabbing people in the back of the head.
Hello, my slice.
So you're doing that. Arch and Velnos, are you guys going to try and get inside now?
Yeah.
It's pried open enough where since you have your vines in there, you can probably pull yourself in. I'm going to have you do a strength check. You pry the window open enough to get through, but as you pull yourself through, about halfway, you kind of slip, and basically the window, the covering that you were prying open, falls back and crunches you in between the wall. So you're going to take 1d6 damage, which I'll roll. So you take 5 damage from that. It also causes a large bang, but since Cham put all the guards that were in the general area to sleep, none of them heard you. Arch, are you going to try and get inside?
I'm just enjoying the show right now.
Well, you can't see any of this.
I mean, what Arch could probably do is, take his hand, buddy, and give him the good old fart box touch.
I don't see him like with his legs wiggling in the air trying to get into the hole.
You see that, but you just don't see like anything that's happening inside the ship.
So she's gonna like plant her feet firmly on his ass and just like kick him down into the hole.
All right, that's gonna be a strength check.
Yep, there we go.
What was that one for? Was that trying to get out?
Yeah, trying to get out again.
So I'm going to say with those 2 combined, you're able to squeak yourself through the window. However, as soon as you do that, the window then shuts again, which means that Arch is locked outside on the side of the vessel. So you are inside now.
All right, so the guard is still up, right?
Cham put 4 of them to sleep with his sleep spell, and then proceeded to coup de grace them on the ground as he's walking up towards the front. So there's still 4 of them left. There's a driver, an engineer, and 2 guards.
I'm going out to the other group.
Well, they're all kind of all 4 of them are in the front of the ship. So when you go up to the 2, you'll also be triggering the other 2. Okay, so are you going to be stealthy about this? Or are you just walking up there?
I'm just walking up. Hola, amigos. It is me, Curtis. I'm here to show you a trick.
All of them turn around and look at you. What the hell is that?
It is me, Curtis. I come from a place down south with a desert. It's not a nice place. It's quite a bit of gang violence, as we say. But would you like to see a magic trick?
The engineer smashes a red button that's next to him. Roll a reflex save.
Oh, you bitch! You bitch!
Failed. So this is going to be funny. Cham, as he hits that button, you realize that the piece of ground you're standing on doesn't appear to be the most stable for some reason. And as that happens, you also see a port in the roof open up. So you are jettisoned by basically what is a mechanical piston shot up into the air and out of the train car. The roof of the train car then proceeds to close as soon as you go on the outside of it. You are going to have to roll I'm going to call it a jump save to land successfully. So, all right. So you land. Basically, what happens is as you fly out, you come down and you land on the very back of the transport, like just enough, like you get like 1 foot on the end and you're kind of like balancing on your tippy toe, and then you bring yourself back. So you're still on board, but now you're outside, and it closed on you. So Velnos, you're the only one that's inside right now. And they're now also kind of curious because the 2 guards are going back to check and see what happened to the other 4.
Oh, I am hiding.
Roll a hide check.
So I just saw the frog
you
get
got a
launched
22,
into the
okay.
sky and then land back next to me.
Yeah, he's kind of like on top, like right in the back. It's like, oh, god damn it. Velnos, you rolled a 22, so you are successfully able to hide from those 2. So you notice as they walk by you, they don't really notice you. You're kind of in like a corner, and you pulled like some cloth and stuff over you, just so they wouldn't notice you. But you can see them. They're making their way towards the rear of the ship, and they're coming upon their now dead friends that got stabbed by Cham.
I'm gonna wait until their backs are turned.
That has already happened. Their backs are turned to you.
I'm gonna come out of hiding and shish kebab both of them in the brain.
All right, so that's going to be 2 targeted attacks at the head. I'm assuming you're using your scorpion vines.
Yeah, the scorpion vines.
All right, so you're going to have to roll 2 attack rolls, and each one of those rolls is going to take a -2 because of targeting. And even with a -2, that's still a 27. Okay, so the first one's going to hit. 20 is still enough. Basically, you would have probably had to have rolled like a 16 or below to not hit him. So you're able to strike both of them in the back of the head. You're going to have to roll for damage on both of those. That's 26, and that's 22. Both of those guys are dead. You put the vine right through the back of their head, and both of the vines shoot out directly in front of their foreheads. You then immediately pull them back through, and both of them are dead. The 2 in the front are still not aware of all the dead ones.
I'm just gonna knock on the panel.
Okay, Velnos, do a listen check.
Did you want to go back inside?
I'm just gonna do my fucking just a nod check, just a nod.
Well, here. And she's gonna hold her hand out to you.
Do you take Saira's hand?
I'm just gonna look at it like I know what that hand does.
No, this is the gauntleted hand. This isn't the spider hand.
Yeah, it's not the nasty spider hand.
Well, that's still I'm looking at it like I know what that hand does.
I know what your hand does. Take my hand, you fucking idiot.
Fine. I'm just gonna grab it.
And I'm gonna cast Ethereal Jaunt, which just literally turns us intangible and sinks through the metal.
You do that, and both of your characters become intangible. You then sink through the roof and reappear inside. Velnos is standing back in the same area, so he sees you do this, but now all 3 of you are inside, and the only 2 Dragonborn left are the driver and the engineer.
I got beef for the engineer, so I'm just gonna go start walking towards him.
The driver was the one that pressed the button that janked you out of the ship.
I'm gonna start walking towards the driver.
All right, well, you can do either one. I don't give a
Either
shit.
one, I'm gonna start walking faster, like the angry walk.
Okay, yep, you're pissed, so yeah, you're gonna do that walk forward.
Sidestep
Velnos, are you gonna follow him, or are you just gonna let Curtis do his business?
Let him do his business.
I'm gonna start looking around for
Alright.
things to take.
I'll do Cham stuff, and then if you guys want to search the cargo to figure out what the hell you have. So Cham, you can walk up to them. So are you gonna do a stealth check, or are you just gonna walk right up?
I want them to notice. I'm gonna sidestep that fucking that jettison thing they had.
I swear to God, if there's more than one.
You know me far too well. So you don't step in the same spot, but they kind of hear you stomping with your little frog feet behind them. So as it comes up, I'm going to say, you know what? If I said it was the engineer this time, I'm going to say it's the driver this time because I just want them both to be dicks. So as soon as he sees that, he then presses another button, roll a reflex save. Okay, that's more than enough. If you rolled anything other than a 1, you're going to be able to dodge it. So you kind of just leap up, and as you do that, another piston comes out from the wall and tries to do the same thing to shoot you out the side of the ship, but it misses. So you're going to be able to lunge for the driver. I'm going to give you an attack of opportunity.
Well, I wasn't going to attack them first.
Okay, if you don't want to attack them, then you just leap over that and you land on the other side unaffected.
Now that's not nice. Would you like to see a magic trick?
What magic trick?
Oh, it's a nice magic trick. Now, who wants to volunteer?
The engineer takes out what looks like a small kind of like pickaxe looking thing. It looks like a small like handheld pickaxe. And he points at the metal ball with the tubes coming out of it and basically says that if you step any closer, he's going to put that through that ball and it will kill everybody on board.
Oh, you don't want to do that. Hell, look at this. I'm going to use greater invisibility. And I'm going to use that as a freaking attack of opportunity to cut off his head.
So you become invisible. In the moment that he's looking around for you, I'm going to give you that attack, so roll for it. That attack does miss, though, unfortunately.
But I'm still invisible.
You are still invisible, yes, because
But-
I believe you have that ability still that where you will stay invisible.
But if that's the case, I'm gonna pull out my hand cannon, put it against his back. I'm gonna pull the trigger.
So what I'm going to have you do is, to do this, I'm going to roll a stealth check, even though you'll probably pass it, and that'll act as your attack roll, then you just roll damage. That's enough. All right, so now just roll for damage on your little sawed-off shotgun there. All right, that's 20. That's more than enough. So basically what you do is you swing a little bit with your Darksaber, but you don't hit him. But again, because you're invisible, he never really realizes this. He's still kind of looking around. So you pull out your little sawed-off shotgun, press it to the back like you said, and as you pull the trigger, his guts just explode out of the front of his body.
After that, I'm just gonna walk forward towards the driver. I'm like, you see, that is my magic trick. Do you want to see another?
No.
It was quite explosive, wasn't it? It was beautiful.
But he's also covered in blood and guts, by the way.
I'm also still invisible.
Well, you're also covered in certain things, too, because you put it right up to his back, so it's just like all over you.
I'm gonna suddenly burst into the room and just say, yo, what the fuck's going on here?
No, you stay back. This is my deal. All right.
Hey,
Now,
right.
Mr. Driver, what is
hey,
your name?
Froggy boy.
My name is Full Speed Stop.
So just a heads up. While I was talking to him, I also reloaded my shotty.
He pulled the lever, so when he said full speed stop, the lever is a braking system. And like I said, this thing is not moving that slow. Probably moving at about 40 miles an hour, at least in terms of like how it would actually be going along the desert. So as soon as he pulls that, all the momentum is going to draw you forward. So everybody roll a balance check to make sure you don't immediately fly forward and then you brace yourselves. All right, Velnos, you're going to be good. So Cham, you and Velnos are okay. However, Saira, seeing as she only rolled a 7, doesn't manage to brace herself, and she immediately flies forward and lands on the ground right behind where Cham's invisibility is, because you have horrible things. So that he just kind of looks at you for a second. He's like, shit, that didn't work.
That wasn't very nice. But to have someone to pray to,
Frog, could you do me a favor and turn him inside the fuck out?
that's what I'm about to do.
12. So what was that for?
That's for my shotgun, like, should blow his head off. Okay, so we're going back. As soon as he pressed it, I'm just like, oh fuck, like, brace myself. I accidentally pulled the trigger, and his fucking head just pops. I wanted to talk to him a bit. Fuck.
Yeah, he also, by the way, his head's gone, by the way, so you're not resurrecting that in terms of talking to it.
Well, shit, he's dead. All right, let's get the fuck off.
Well, like I said, the vehicle now, or the transport that you're in, has been completely stopped. The only other thing you have in there is you have all the cargo that's inside, which there are a fair amount of wooden boxes that are all
here's
over
the thing.
the inside of it.
I'm gonna look at
Wait,
Saira. I'm
wait.
gonna look at Drelark. I'm like, are you guys thinking of what I'm thinking?
No, I'm thinking that I forgot to power the crystal.
You didn't have anything to power the crystal with.
Power it with souls.
You can, if you want to try using that. You also have a mysterious power source that is driving the ship forward.
I'm gonna like, don't touch.
I want to
Don't touch.
investigate that power source.
Don't touch.
What?
Not
I
until
will
we get
touch.
home.
I will
Until we
touch.
get home.
I will
Darling.
touch.
Here's the question. Why not take the whole fucking car?
Exactly.
We're
That's exactly
in
what I'm
the
thinking.
thing that's driving right now.
So I'm gonna move the body off the driver's seat. I
right.
want to do an intelligence check, see if I can figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
In order to drive it.
Yeah.
I'll say that for the sake of doing this, figuring it out is going to be a raw intelligence check. And you rolled a 15 in total. Okay, so you can figure out basically the basic mechanics of it. Like, you saw him pull the brake, so you know what that lever does. And then you have several other ones, so after fiddling around with them and moving the thing around, you're able to get it so that it can move back and forth. So you're able to, through process of elimination, you're basically able to figure out how this thing moves. The only other thing is to figure out how you actually drive it and see. And it also appears that there's some kind of looks almost like a periscope on a submarine. It's this little device. It's not in front of the driver, though. It's in another spot. It's next to the driver. Okay, so yeah, so you figured out how to drive it. You just can't see. You need somebody else as your navigator.
Who else besides me is smart? With a shit-eating grin, just look at Saira.
Ira is already in the back, like wrist deep inside a body.
I need you real quick. Could you come here?
Frog, she starts to stand up and head towards you. We're gonna have to investigate one of those days. If it's like a brain aneurysm or like a tumor or something, pressing
No,
on
you
your
don't need to
brain
worry about that.
that makes
No,
you
you need
change
to worry.
all your strange voices.
I don't know what you're talking about. This
I
has always
just
been
did.
my voice.
All right, whatever you say.
And I'm just gonna do a bluff. I'm just gonna bluff.
Okay, roll bluff. An 18. Do you want to discern whether or not he's bluffing, or do you care?
I mean, I think as a baseline, she doesn't care what he says, but I will make a wisdom saving throw if you want me to.
Make a wisdom saving throw to discern whether you know it's a bluff or not, but if you choose to act on it, it is up to you. Again, you will have to
Alrighty.
beat an 18.
Oh, shit.
Alright, you beat the 18. You can tell he's full of shit.
I mean, nothing that comes out of his mouth is true.
I'm just like
Even the things that are true.
I'm just gonna still have that shit-eating grin.
Okay, sweetie, what I need you to do is take a seat right here.
So you do see the periscope type contraption that he's pointing you towards, and it's pretty self-explanatory what he wants you to do with it.
See, I'm not tall enough to reach that.
Use magical device or
Just
No,
look through it. You don't even have to use device. It's not like it's a mechanical thing. You literally just look through it.
okay. So she's just gonna like look through the scope.
So as you look through it, basically it kind of gives a baseline. So there's kind of like an iron sight thing on the outside of the ship where it kind of gives you an indication of where straight ahead is. The rest of it, you can turn it around 180 degrees and see around. It's basically like a periscope. You can see around the entire ship.
All right. So I'm going to start directing him.
All right,
Okay.
let's go to the cart. Let's get our lovely dragons.
I'm like steering this.
So you get back to your little encampment where all the creatures are, and you pull the lever for the full stop, but you pull it gently enough where it doesn't just like jolt you forward.
While we were in transit, I 100% brought those bodies back to life and
Okay.
formed them over the front of the truck as a bumper while he learns how to drive.
Okay, all right. So you have a corpse bumper right now that's going to help you in case you bump into something.
Couldn't she see through the eyes of her bumper?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see because I got
Oh
the
yeah,
periscope.
she can at that
No,
point.
she can see through the eyes of the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. I do
So-
have like a 360 view outside as well.
So she could just like sit down and just like, all right, go here. She doesn't have
Yeah,
to stand
no,
up.
she can. She definitely can. All right, so you guys are back in. So basically, another thing that you figured out is that when you were fucking around with the controls, there was a little switch above where the main controls levers and stuff are. And when you flip it, a ramp crashes down from the back of it. That's how they loaded all the big stuff onto there. Is the whole back wall of it is actually one big off ramp, pretty much. Yeah, that they can load stuff into and then bring it back up. As you do that, you flip that, and that's big enough for it's big enough for basically everything you have to fit on it, including the
Okay.
wagon.
All right, let's do that. Just put the wagon on.
You guys move all your stuff onto the ship, so you now have Whopper Jr. is on there along with the wagon
Wait,
and the
Whopper
two
Jr.'s
dragons.
in it?
You can also inspect the boxes that you have if you want, or you can bring them back to base.
I'll have her leave her hand. Like, couldn't you like talk to me through your hand?
I can, yes.
So she'll leave her. I'll ask her to leave her hand with me and guide me where we're going while she and Drelark sift through the shit.
You can do that.
All right, so I'll start driving.
So I'll have you roll a ride roll, but I'll do that after they start looking through the crates. So Velnos and Arch, if you guys want to roll treasure checks to see what you find, I'm going to say because of the sheer amount that's in the cart, I'm going to say each one of you can roll 3 treasure checks. None of those was a nat 20. That's going to be something good. So Velnos, you need to roll 3 as well. Oh, you also rolled a nat 20. Oh, and an 18 too, which is going to be something good. Okay, so you guys are going to find some good shit back there. Arch, so we're going to go with your 3 first. The 5 that you rolled, that's just going to be a crate. It has 100 gold in it. The 12 that you rolled is going to be a crate that's full of jewels. You'll have to get that appraised afterwards, but it looks like it's a lot more valuable. The 20, you find what appears to be a set of baby dragon armor.
So here's my problem with that is I think basically all 3 of these things should go to the frog because I'm not really interested in money. I'll keep the armor for Fafnir. The other 2 I'm just going to drag next to the frog and let him know money's his.
I'm gonna be like, leave some crates for me.
Do you want to
Okay.
trade out so you can go check in the back?
Fuck it, yeah.
If you want to do that, Cham, you can also roll 3 treasure checks. We'll see if you get a nat 20.
I'm gonna also tell her like this is how you do things. This is this. Like fucking
Yeah.
break, obviously.
Arch, roll an intelligence check. All right, so you picked up on the very, very basics of it, but at least you can see where you're going. The armor that you got for Fafnir is basically, it's kind of like this like metal headpiece that goes over the top of his head. And then he also has little claw covers for his feet. And he has a cuirass that goes over him as well, but it has holes in it for his wings. I got to do Velnos's treasure checks because he definitely got some decent stuff too. 7, I'm going to say, is very similar to the 5 that Arch rolled. So it's another crate that has 100 gold in it. Now, the 18 and the 20 are going to be the ones that are interesting. Now, the 18 is what looks like a book of very light mechanical devices. The reason why I'm giving you that book is because your armor has the ability to make light mechanical devices. It can't emulate like an internal combustion engine or something like that, but let's say you wanted to make a hang glider, some kind of a wheel or something like that. If you wanted to do something that was a little bit more complex, this allows you to do that where you can have more than one moving part. So that's your 18. The 20 is going to be, as you look inside, it looks like it's a spear. It's a very long spear with a glowing green head on it. You don't know what type of magic the spear does. You just can see that it appears to be glowing green, which is usually a pretty good indicator that it's magical in some way.
I got the BDSM wagon and the Spear of Destiny. Sweet.
Again, you do not know what the spear actually does. You just can see visually that it seems to be magical.
What happens if I fuck with it?
Depends. What do you want to do with it?
I'm gonna try and somehow zap it. It's magical. It probably zaps something.
Okay, so here's what happens. As soon as you touch the spear and pick it up out of the box that it's in, you see that the glow on the tip matches a glow that is emanating from the crystal that binds your armor. The spear then binds with your hand, basically, like it can incorporate itself, and it then incorporates itself into your armor, which means you can bring the spear out at any time. Now, the thing is that as soon as you bring the spear out, are you going to poke something with it, or are you going to just swing it around, or...
I'm gonna try and see what it actually does. Where are the corpses?
I formed them into a corpse bumper, remember?
So they're all on the outside of the train. So you can fuck with it when you get back to base.
I was gonna suggest something stupid, but it'll probably get me killed instantly, so I'm gonna wait.
So the other thing that you can discern, though, based on the fact that the spear was able to bind with your armor, is that it is of elven origin, because only elven magic can bind with your armor. So the spear that is definitely elven in origin. You can also tell that based on the construction of it. You get back to camp and you go outside of this now massive ship, which, by the way, your gnome engineer Scrappy and Fernando the gunsmith are both stricken by what you have brought back, and they immediately start like hugging it, and Fernando might be licking it a little bit, you don't know, but they automatically love this thing because now they get to tinker around with something they've never seen before.
That's a concern. Hands on, boys.